Good day, and welcome to the Budding Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Randy Bridges. In each episode, I cover my experiences, both good and bad, of being a business builder, as well as my journey through the crazy world of entrepreneurship to reach my goal of earning $10 million a year. All right, we're on episode 112 of the Budding Entrepreneur, and this is the end of the first week of September 2023, setting the tone for where we are. This month is, it's a bit of more an introspective kind of a month. I still want to go through the same format that we've been covering, but I also want to bring in some different concepts and different things that I've been working on over the past, say, 2 weeks. Now, in terms of books, I'm still working through the $100 Million Leads by Alex Hormozi. And he also has his $100 million offers. Hormozi is a unique character. If you've never read anything from him or talked with him and heard anything that he covers, take a few minutes because the guy can go deep very fast. He speaks super quick. And so for him, it's kind of like it's a race almost for him to get his ideas out. And some people are like that. When it comes time to talk about what you do, Hormozi he's great because he can race through information quickly, but that also means he's thinking well in advance of what he's going to actually say. In this podcast, I kind of go a little more casual. I don't really spend a lot of time planning out exactly what I'm going to do. Everything is done at a very high level. And so everybody's a little bit different and you have to kind of get used to that. This week in going through this, I've learned a lot of things that are really good, but I wanted to kind of share something that came from Alex Hormozi is what he calls his core four. This is in regards to marketing and generating information, generating leads, if you will. His core four include warm outreach, not a surprise. Everybody you know, everybody you have a connection to, this is who you are reaching in your warm outreach. Cold outreach takes a little bit different tack, but it still is the same concept. Instead of having a clear, warm audience or even a hot audience, you have somebody that has no reason to deal with you. And what your first thing to do is to hook them so that they continue reading your material or they continue watching your material. This is the Russell Brunson concept of hook, story, offer, where the story is what got you to the point that you're trying to solve, and the offer is how do you solve it. Then there's another one of the core four is you post free content. Now, Taylor Welch and many different people are a proponent of the free content kind of concept, and I do as well. I didn't at first, but I understood that you have to do this. You have to give back to the community before the community gives to you. So that's the purpose of the posting free content. And then the last of the core four are run paid ads. Now, I've done that many, many times. I took a client who had been in business for about 30 years. He didn't know what he was trying to accomplish. And I took him from almost zero presence, even though he'd been doing this for 30 years. His web presence was zero. And I ran 3, actually total of 4 ads that were designed to engage people on different topics. This is an attorney, and attorneys live and die by their retainer fees because the retainer fee is what they get in advance and then they bill from. So it's like going to a bank, getting something deposited in it, and then you just bill from it. So he started running paid ads through me, and after 4 months, he had reached over, actually 3 months, he had reached over $100,000 in retainer fees. Not because of anything he did or anything I did, but in fact, it was simply that we got a good message to the right people in a way that would hook them. They would come in, they would see what's going on, and then they would make the phone call, or they would go to the webpage, or they would go to wherever it was. And the idea when you're running paid ads is if you have a weak offer, you need to tighten your offer. That's what I learned a long time ago, is you tighten your offer first, then you tighten your story, then you tighten your hook. If you can get a good hook to start, all's best. And by the way, that falls into that category of how do I get engagement? Well, you've got to get somebody's attention, and attention these days is really hard to get. So those core 4 are really key to everything that Alex Hormozi does. So those are the books that I'm working on this month. I'm already halfway through the $100 million leads. And so I'm going to see how the offer tightens up. I've got some really good ideas from the book on how to improve my own presence on the internet and get, more engagement as I'm going through and doing this. The second category that I'm working with, besides the books, is what am I working on today, right? And we'll get into what I'm doing later on, but I'm still working through my core KPIs. I'm doing somewhere between 3 and 4 posts a day on social media. I'm still doing the podcast, obviously, once a week. I'm doing blogs twice a week, and I'm trying to intersperse my information to actually do outreach to people early in the morning. Being that I'm on East Coast time, I can position my content and position my outreach and then respond during the day. If the person is on East Coast time, awesome. If they're on West Coast time, I'm going to come back through in the afternoon and redo my outreach and try to tighten that up. So those are my core KPIs, trying to get the outreach of what's going on. You're looking at impressions, you're looking at conversations, you're looking at emails and direct messages, just all kinds of different pieces of the puzzle that your key performance indicators, your core ones, are designed around. This week is the release of the new monthly consulting memo from Taylor Welch. This was a very unique one. It gave me a perspective that I hadn't really kind of taken because I'd been so buried in the launch kit program that the concepts in the consulting memos, and this is a deep one. This is a really good consulting memo. And we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But the idea being that you have to keep your concepts open. You have to be aware that the world is feeding you information, and you have to be receptive to it. You have to be able to actually take your antenna, kind of like a convex mirror or a concave mirror, and reflect back to the world around you as what is going on. And that is where you gain your greatest push and pull, right? Convex versus concave. Concave is creating like a bowl. Convex is the other side of it, like the bowl is upside down. You're going to be reflecting things away that you don't want, and your concave is the things that you want to pull in. So the consulting memos, as I'll talk about, has allowed me some expansion and thought. And finally, I'm taking advantage of the arena, which was part of the program, was added later on. And I simply, for Launch Kit, have not really delved super deep into it. So I'm dealing with things like Mindset Mondays, really locking it in. Learning about different people, but also learning about different concepts, that how people have tried and failed and tried and failed and tried and failed yet again, and finally, somewhere along the line, found success. So the arena is a great thing that I'm taking advantage of now because I still have time on it. And I think it's probably to the end of this month. So I'm going to be working through that as much as I can and try to expand that mindset without having to actually go crazy, and then I can sign up for Arena and continue the process going later on. For this coming week, I'm going to be going deeper. I'm going to be dealing with a lot of concepts that I haven't dealt with before. And part of it came from the consulting memos. I want to expand on my perspective, my personal vision, and I want to expand on making dreams real. If you see something clearly enough, and when I say clearly enough, I mean you are super clear on what you're trying to achieve, almost nothing will stop you from achieving it. It's when you stop seeing it, that's when things tend to go away. So you start with a perspective, arranging yourself with the world around you and seeing where you fit best. Then taking your personal vision and say, what can I do given the circumstances that I have? What can I achieve and what can I do with it? And then that helps you to look at your dreams and make them real. You know where you are. You know where you're oriented and how you are in the world around you. You have your internal personal vision and then your external dreams. And you can then see a clear path on how you move forward. So for this coming week, as I expand on this perspective and personal vision and making dreams real, I am focusing on the core four. That's really key. Hormozi gives a lot of really good ideas about that. And there were some things that he does in his books that are really unique. And this is one that I want to focus on myself. This is a pro tip, as he calls it. Make the success activities the conditions of your guarantee. Now, there's a lot of people out there that do guarantees. They're probably not actually capable of doing a guarantee because either they haven't proven that it's capable or they haven't reached the point where it's dealt with enough problems. So let me read this to you. And this is related to the consulting field. As soon as you start getting customer results, note what they did. Then start guaranteeing new customers those results, but do it on the condition that they do what the best customers did. The guarantee sells more people, and the conditions get them better results. You win, they win. This is a massive concept and brain changer, is that instead of promising the unpromisable, what you want to do is you want to base the guarantee on what someone else was achieving. And then you can go from there. Now, guarantees are kind of funny. In certain types of business, that's not you don't want to get a guarantee. Insurance companies hate guarantees, especially for errors and omissions insurance. But if you can give a guarantee that's based on somebody else's activities that proved your point, you're well on your way to being able to say, yes, this guarantee is a guarantee if you do X, Y, Z. If you don't do X, Y, Z, I can't help you, right? I'm not going to get you the results, and I'm not going to be able to do a guarantee. There's a lot of people that in place of a guarantee will just offer a money back offer. They'll just simply say, look, if you can't achieve what you want to achieve and you can't get it done, then let me just give you your money back. And that's actually, from an insurance point of view, they like that a lot better because you can now say, I'm not guaranteeing anything. I'm simply saying if you do X and X was successful, then you don't need your money back, right? And that's a key. So I'm going to go ahead and keep this relatively short today. We're going not very long. We're going up to about 15 minutes. So I'm going to wrap up today, and I hope that this is a good plan for you. If you haven't considered some of these things, look forward to your next week, your next 2 weeks, and plan out the things that you're going to do for your whole month, just like I'm doing here. So this is Randy Bridges with The Budding Entrepreneur, wishing you the best in your health, your wealth, your business, your family, everything about you. Take care and have a great week. We'll see you next week with a whole new batch of different concepts to cover.